Hey guys, WaifuGate here. So today we're going to be going over another deck guide. This time it'll be over Dimir Kefnet Control, which is something I haven't visited since like, I don't even know when, man. It used to be one of my favorites though. And Adam and Ant, one of MTG, one of the other streamers that I've been watching for quite some time now, threw me a deck check. And in this deck check, he presented me a list for Kefnet. And I dug into the list trying to min-max the choices, like this card over this one. And we changed around probably about 10, 15 cards or so. And I'm pretty happy with the list as of now. And this guide will go over what I think are the good matchups, bad matchups, sideboard tech, what certain sideboard cards are for and whatnot. Any changes that I would make in the main or the side based on how the meta is going to shift potentially, and overall how the deck functions, what are we supposed to do with the deck. So those are the main points that we're going to be going over shortly. Before we dig right into the deck guide itself, I'd like to just mention that we have a giveaway code for the video as well. This is just a one-time use giveaway code for MTGA, like MTG Arena, where you jam it into the store and then it'll spit out an uncommon, rare, or mythic card. And then we keep like a leaderboard for the stream in regards to best and worst pull. So if you want to tell us what you got in the comments below, A, it helps people know that the code's already been grabbed so they don't search for it. And then B, you could get on the leaderboard, and that's just kind of fun for the stream. So that being said, let's dig into the list. All right, so this is the list. So let's dig into this and kind of explain how the deck works first. Now, you guys might be familiar with Kefnet. He's a bit popular like way back when this set first released. Like there's a lot of god-oriented decks sort of rolling around, before we had a lot of good answers to them and such, and when we didn't really have, better threats for the most part. Now, the interesting thing about Kefnet is that he kind of provides you extra card advantage by himself as long as your deck is contains mostly instants and sorceries. So we can see here that there are a lot of not so meta cards, right? Like Opt, like it's used in Reclamation. Discovery Dispersal, haven't really seen this since, Grixis Control was kind of big, stuff like that. And then Enter the God Eternals isn't that popular because there are a lot of better ways to gain life in Control, like Omen of the Sun, Birth of Meletis, stuff like that, where if you have different colors, Uro is another huge one. If you don't have those colors, though, where else can you get the life gain? And it's like between this and Cling to Dust. So basically the whole idea is that everything but Kefnet is a proc for Kefnet. So unless you are drawing a land or another Kefnet, you will have an extra card to cast at a discounted price with Kefnet. And basically we're running slightly lower than usual lands at 24 for control because our top end is 4, pretty much. And then everything else is sort of discounted, like this at 5, but you don't have to cast this and it's only a 2 of, on curve. And then our lands are very value oriented, like we've got 3 castles, 4 Scrylands. Scrylands are so much better in this deck than they are in others, just because you have synergy with Kefnet. You can scry an extra Opt to the top, etc., and get that extra card advantage for your next turn. Or if you're going to Opt on your opponent's turn, you know that you have a hit and you can plan accordingly for the extra cards, like eliminate, bap, and just remove your opponent's creatures, and that's almost like a board wipe. Especially against mono green, where as long as they don't have Garruk's Harbinger, you can 2-for-1 them. You can just kill the Barkhide, kill something else. It's kind of nice. Maybe you can force that hexproof counter off of them with the extra copy of Eliminate even, and kind of get there, it's just kind of nice. So that's the whole idea, is to set up extra draws, draw more cards, get more value, and then eventually Kefnet just keeps swinging in for 4 each turn, and that will win you the game. And then you also have amass tokens with Enter the God Eternals. I have a Grim Tutor here that I haven't crafted, but I ran into a game where it was very difficult to close out the game without Kefnet, because how else am I going to do damage, you know? So that was very difficult. So this is I'm going to test this soon. But basically the idea behind this is I can search my library for Kefnet, put it into my hand, and then I can get value going, basically, is the idea. And I think that's worth it, but I'm not 100% sold on it yet. Like I said, I want to test it. I think before it was like 4 discovery dispersals here instead of the Grim Tutor, and I think having the Grim Tutor is just better, so we can have like 5 copies of this card, basically. Now, we did have Commence the Endgame in here as well, and I think that is legit when paired with Enter the God Eternals as well, in regards to having a functioning win con. It might even be that we want 2 Commence main deck again. Adam's list originally had 2 Commence, I believe, 1 in the sideboard, and I think that it's probably fine because you get so many cards in your hand with this deck at a certain point where you're just generating value. How do you turn that value into damage? Well, if you get a token that says, like, you know, it's a 7/7 because you have 7 cards in your hand, or you amass for that much, it's just huge, you know? On top of already having maybe an amass token out. Just a big change in damage. And I'm not really sure how else to push the win cons, because there's nothing like sorcery or instant speed that comes to my head that closes out the game, that produces extra creatures, etc. You know, so that's the idea of the deck, is just draw a lot, answer a lot, and then start going schmork with Kefnet. The other types of win cons these types of control decks normally run would be like Sharknado, like, you know, Shark Typhoon, stuff like that. But those aren't instants and sorceries, so that's like taking away from our procs. So it's very interesting to try to think about win cons in this sense. Same things with Planeswalkers, like they can close out the game, but they don't offer you any extra procs for Kefnet. Now, in regards to good and bad matchups, I would say that aggro can get away game 1, since we only have 3 sweepers with Extinction Event, but we have a lot of spot removal, man. 4 Eliminates, 4 Heartless, lots and lots of answers. 4 Remorses to grab that Questing Beast out of their hand, etc. It's not terrible. These are a good flex spot as well on the sideboard to make room for things to make aggro a little bit easier, like the Soots come in for mono green, stuff like that. Say that Reclamation, if they're main decking the 2 Nightpack Ambushers, could be a little tricky, but generally speaking, we have a lot of answers to creatures in this list, like Extinction Event. Even if you hit your own Kefnet with that, it gets exiled and you can put it 3 cards from the top. And there's not a lot of tech. Like, a lot of people aren't running, like, you know, Field of Ruin, stuff to force us to shuffle. So typically speaking, we can guarantee Kefnet will come back to our hand at some point, even if we exile him ourselves, right? Or is this, I think this might be a she, actually. I'm not sure. I can't remember lore-wise. Should probably check into that just to be accurate. Anyways, so Reclamations, I think okay, just because we can sideboard in Thought Distortion, and this at a discounted price is only 4. Like, if we hit this off of Kefnet with an opt, or just as our first card drawn for the turn, we can, you know, ramp this out, so to speak, which isn't terrible. We also have 3 Grasp for Nightpack Ambushers in the sideboard, and we've got 2 Gust and 2 Negate. So not as good as having like Dovin's Veto on the side, but overall we can do pretty okay. Even 4-color Reclamation isn't that bad, because, like, who cares if they veto one of our things? We have so many spells and extra copies that them stopping one of them won't matter too much. We just got to shut down that Teferi, basically, which we have 4 Eliminates for. So, I mean, that's not too terrible. We also have Hand Hate with this as well. What else is meta right now? Let me pop open a new tab here, go to MTG Goldfish, and I'm just going to check what meta lists I need to cover in regards to analyzing like the matchups. Spam Ramp, we do okay because of Thought Distortion. Even if they sideboard in the dudes, we have like Night Packs, we have answers for that. Mono Green, we do okay against Sakdos. It's hit or miss, but typically we can race this. And we have Blast Zones for the ovens as well. I think we have 2, so like we do okay there. Sultai Ramp's a little tricky because they can blow up Kefnet and potentially, like, you know, shut us down on lands, which can kind of hurt. But typically speaking, if we can remorse the casualties or remorse the Nissa, if we take away one of their points, it's not terrible. Mono red, we do pretty okay against. Our sideboard's quite good against this with Cryocarnarium and Soots. I'd say the downside here is we don't have a lot of life gain, so if we can't get ahead on the board, it hurts a lot. Zorius, just sideboard and Thought Distortions, we do alright. Esper Control Yorion, we typically do okay-ish against this, since we can get Thought Distortion out a little bit faster than they do, because of Kefnet, but Esper can be a little tricky because they have a lot of spot removal, so they can keep resetting Kefnet. They have Hand Hate, so just a lot of stuff that we don't like. Jund Sacrifice, I say, is a little bit harder than Sakdos sometimes, just because it has a lot of value with Trail of Crumbs, and our only answer to that is Remorse or bounce it and then try to take it from their hand, stuff like that, so that's going to be a little tough. Grill Aggro, pretty not terrible. Like, same thing as Mono Red. Like, if we can answer the board state here and there and they don't have a lot of burn, we're fine. Just gotta watch out for that Bone Crusher finisher and try to get, like, God Eternals down. And Mono Black, we do okay against as well. It's like, overall, we don't have any, like, terrible matchups. I would say if Reclamation gets ahead, it's really annoying, especially since we struggle to answer the enchantment itself. Like, if that becomes more of a problem, maybe we can run the, like, you know, sack an enchantment card for black or whatever. Like, there are answers to it if you want to tweak the list for those, but overall I think that if you don't stress about it, you typically do okay-ish in those matchups. So let's cover the sideboard now that we have the matchups done, how the deck flows. Gust is primarily going to be for your mono green, so you can reset that Grook's Harbinger back to the top, Questing Beast, etc. Becomes extremely useful, especially when they have the prime, I think it's called Primal Might, where they pump it by X and then try to fight your dude, because they'll keep that in if they see Kefnet. All right, so what you do is you just gust the Questing Beast in response, and then that whiffs their removal for Kefnet, because otherwise we can just block the Questing Beast, we get Kefnet back later and we're good. So they don't want that, so they are going to keep the answer like Primal Might. So that's nice. And you can just 2-for-1 them for that, basically. You get their creature off the table for a second, stuff one of their draws if they decide to keep that on top, and you're whiffing on one of their cards, which is awesome. This is also good for Reclamation, just to gust the Wilderness back to the top. You can gust Expansion Explosion, like you can just set them back a little bit. It's good for Uro as well. Early game ramp, you can use it on that too if you don't want them to play too far above curve. Just depends on how you want to spend your answers. Negate, same deal, Temur Reclamation, very good. It's very good against that. Any type of control, like that's going to try to get you with Teferi. It's like, I figured that 2 copies of Negate are better than 2 copies of Dispute, just because they can be useful in other types of matchups where, you know, maybe we want to stop an Ember Cleave, we want to stop burn damage, etc. It's just sort of a nice fill-all. Like, it's very flexible. Grasp, this is mainly for Nissa, Questing Beast, Mono Green, just in general. It's very good against that. It's good against Ember Cleave. It's good against Teferi. Like, this thing hits a lot of stuff in the meta right now. And for 2 mana and a little bit of life gain, that can go the distance for you. So, something that we shouldn't really discount. Cry, mostly for Sakdos, Jund, where we can maybe exile their cats and then they start playing around at main phase, so they're not, so they have to play a little awkwardly. It's kind of nice. Also good for mono red. It's just not a bad card to have for Sweeper. The only reason I have 2 is just I felt like Soot is better against mono green because of Grook's Harbinger. We have a tough time answering that creature, man, because that's hexproof from black, so we can't, like, eliminate it. We can't hit it with Heartless. Like, there's just so much that whiffs in our deck because of it. We can, however, block it with Kefnet, which is a nice saving grace, but it's not always going to get us there. So I like Soot just because it hits mono red as well, etc. The reason why this is better against mono red than Soot, typically speaking, is because of a Nex. If we exile everything, if we exile their board first and then they untap with a Nex, it's not as bad as them untapping with like a million tokens. So, because then it's harder for them to cleave. kind of takes that off. One Commence, I feel like this deserves some main deck spots as well. Because you get to amass X, so this just puts them on a really fast clock, on top of filling our hands full of answers or potentially more threats with, you know, Enter the God Eternals, etc. Like being able to push that is nice. And then this, of course, is for, you know, Bant Ramp to get rid of those Eugenes. It's for you white control Esper, Yorian, etc., where they just want to hold counter spells and hide behind them until you go to cast the first spell, but if the first spell is Thought Distortion, they can't really counter it. Therefore, they lose a bunch of value. Against Tamir, this is a little riskier because they oftentimes bring in, whether it's Tamir Reclamation or 4-color Reclamation, they oftentimes bring in like Night Pack Ambushers. So yeah, we Thought Distort, get rid of all their counters, but then if they slam Ambusher and we don't have an answer, that's tough. However, unlike most decks, we're running a lot of spot removal, even main deck, for the Night Pack Ambusher. Like we can even Enter the God Eternals that game 1, but that's game 1, and we probably don't have that game 2 with our Thought Distortions. So it's something to consider. It's not an always bring in against control, but oftentimes, especially with Kefnet discounting this to 4 once in a while, it's very, very funny, and I like it a lot. So this is mainly for aggro, by the way. I don't think I really covered Cling to Dust. So this is like gain 3 life or draw a card for 1 mana. So this can kind of shut off a target for ECD. It can kill like Exile and Uro to shut that off, stuff like that, which is really, really nice. So typically speaking, if I really need room, I'll remove Frantic Inventory, especially against mono green or Gruul if they have Ooze, because otherwise Ooze doesn't really do anything for the opponent. We instead like just get to you know, we don't really utilize our graveyard too much is what I'm trying to say. So if they keep Oozes in for Frantic Inventory, what's it really doing? And the answer is not much. They can eat their own creatures for attack power, and that's about it. So I usually take Frantic Inventories out for stuff like Soots or Grasps against mono green, or any deck running Ooze, basically, even if Tamir Reclamation is going to bring them in from the side, etc., because they'll see this and they'll want to address it. So that's something to consider. So I'd say considerations for more Commence, stuff like that. And we're going to jump into some gameplay here in a second. So hopefully this part of the video has kind of given you an idea of how to maybe pilot the deck, like early game, you know, look for card advantage, set up for land drops, and then just start cranking out value. And it's pretty, the deck plays itself to a certain point, but playing to your outs, like knowing what you could draw into extra for removal at the discounted price, and then casting the actual removal on something else, etc. You can get out of some really tricky situations if you know what to set up for. And yeah, so we'll jump into the gameplay, and I'll see you guys in just a minute. Look at this. This is us, Adam. See that? Demir queued up a few seconds ago. We're putting it on the board. Like, this is perfect. Need to find a Kefnet. Oh boy. Gotta look for a second land here. Please don't. I might have a family. Can't ever put Opt on bottom, dude. I do have a Blast Zone. There's a Cafe. Let's Remorse and try to take what they're ramping into away from them. Busting Beast, for example. Well, our Extinction event is good if we can cast it. This is 9 damage. All right, sounds good, Adam. I will catch you later, man. I'll try to tune into the stream. I might end up raiding pretty soon. Oh, they get gas off of this too. We're pretty much dead. Yeah, yeah, we're dead. We're dead if they want us to be dead. They go knight and the other dude. There's no way I can survive this. Maybe there is. Oh no. That's the monkey paw, man. Because we can't shock in or we die to the Paradise Druid. Right, 2 damage. We need an untapped land off of this draw or the next. Jam. Okay. Soots. Grasp. Maybe even Cries for the Paradise Druids. It might be a little rough. Do that. I want to take out Commence. Take out a Chemisters. Maybe trim on one of these. Now we have a lot of cards. I think we might have to take out the Remorses. Even though they're good early game. We need to take out the Cling to Dust because they don't really have any graveyard interaction. Even though it is very cheap to develop. And I want Gust against this probably for like Beast and the Groot Harbinger. Maybe trim the Callus by 1. You just cut this. A lot of vision that we're losing though. Have a lot of answers though. It's basically like answer, and then they lose. Because they don't have any refill for the most part aside from Garruk's Harbinger. Exception there. Looks really decent. We can opt for a land. Knock in for Gust. Okay. That's a good eliminate target. Keep lands. Those. We just pass and chill. They can't pump this thing. We can take 1 damage easy. Cares about 1. Bring it on. If they just pass, we eliminate this guy. Do the same thing, but hold up Grasp and Gust, not shocking ourselves, so we're not making their clock better. They could have the Wildborn Preserver there with Flash, potentially. But they would have cast it, I think. That's kind of annoying. Let's Gust that. Time Walk them. Put on top, okay. We can develop Blast Zone and just put some counters on it if we want to. And just chill here a moment. Let's see if we can get another Gust for Harbinger. Ooh, okay. That is fine. I'm gonna frantic inventory here just to draw what we have options for. And chill. I'm kind of sad because this is even. So like we can't kill it like with the Harbinger. Like if we go to... Oh, we can Soot though. Oh my god. What did I tell you guys? I said that Soot was really good, didn't I? Told you guys it was... No one believed me. What's a cheap deck to climb with? Give me just a second. Don't eat my frantic inventories. Those are mine.
Milongo92 just subscribed. Just restarted.
I appreciate that though, man. Thank you for the 17 months. Holy moly, dude. 17? You're crazy. Let's go evens. And Steven. But I appreciate it, man. Thank you, dude. We are now 72 out of 100 for our goal here. We're very happy. Appreciate the support, dude. Just bounce that. Lol. Hilarious. I wish we could draw a card off of that. I wish that drew us cards. But I appreciate it, man. Cheap deck to climb with. Mono white. If you already have some of the stuff from mono white, especially. Pretty decent. I want to check out our options here. I mean, I'll take that and do odd. That leaves me with a blocker still. Gets around the hexproof for black. Because this thing will refill their hand crazily fast, the thing. So odd. I always make sure because I messed up on Extinction Event so often. We don't block Questing Beast or another Haster anyway. Like Ceratops can just trample us over, so we might as well get our 1 damage in. Okay. So now they're gonna have to commit full tilt because they can't just sit around unless they have another Harbinger. Oh, that's fine. I mean, I'm not pressured to do anything at the second. They don't really eat a lot in the graveyard, right? Like, they have 1 creature to eat to make that into a 3/3, and I can still chump that. I don't lose anything by just chilling out here for a second. Damn, what's up? I don't have anything in my graveyard that you really want, man. Yeah, I was about to say, that's the correct move. I love their deck, though, to be fair. I do love the Scavenging Ooze. Like this rock type deck where you have like really strong creatures and whatnot. What are my other answers to Farouk's Harbinger, and how many have we fought through? I think we've only fought through 1. I have Extinction Event at 2%. Kefnet can block it. Kefnet at 7% draw. I think I want to use an Eliminate here. This way we're just making a 3/3, so it's not that bad of a deal. So we're not like really losing a lot from taking our damage that turn. We take this 3. Then we gust this end of turn if they do nothing. That way we have something to do. Because they're not going to put that on top. And therefore they don't have a board or anything to do with their mana. They just waste their turn. And then we're still holding up a gust. Goes to the bottom. Now we just need, yep, Kefnet, there's our boy. That's him. It's your boy. I think we still have this, don't we? We still have this. What happened to Kefnet? Kefnet, come in. Come in? Yes. Okay, yeah.
Take 5.
Yeah, I'm almost ready to end the stream, like it's pretty close. Assassin's Trophy. And I will definitely do this. What's up? It's close. They have game 1 on me. It's very close. Nesting Beast. Hold that. Is that okay?
Just ask. Would you like me to kill your creature?
A little bit of life gain too. And they have no 2-drop to follow it up with. That's awesome. Yo, it's your boy. Kefnet, he's back. Is that okay? We got a setup for our... I'm just taking the ramp for free, dude. Because this guy comes back anyway. Like, yeah, it's in my deck, dude. I love it. Thank you. Thanks. Like the Hearthstone email, right? Right? Okay. So check this out. I'll pop off here later. Blast zone, putting in work. No, not like this, dude, please. Only a 42% chance to draw a land. This thing can just kill me next turn, too. All set. It's your boy. Coming back at you. Reveal very fast. Auto pay. Back at it again. We don't need that. We already have one of those. I don't swing because I'm terrified. Please don't look at me. Rotting Regisaur, alright. I'll actually wait on the mana. If I draw something here. Oof. Actually, I could have kept that land. Go ahead and stop during their upkeep. I'm gonna Chemisters to see if I can draw into... No. Wanted to see if I could squeeze out a little more value there. Woo! That was a close one. Some might consider a nail biter. Yeah, we just gotta get through this game. Dude, Garruk's Harbinger is such a house, man. Oh my goodness. So they're bringing in like Assassin's trophies and stuff, which is fine. Like, I don't mind them ramping me. It's their only answer to like Kefnet, which is whatever. Like, I love that actually, because the interaction happens as to we get to shuffle our deck first, and then Kefnet's effect goes off. Then we can put them 3 cards under, so it doesn't really bother me too much. The inventories are actually kind of weak against Scavenging Ooze, so I might take those out in hopes of like Remorses or something to get rid of Garruk's Harbinger almost. I feel like that might be better. And Callus doesn't really seem good enough here to stall like a lot of their blocker. Like, we don't really do anything with that. So I feel like these 6 cards are bad, but I don't know what to replace them with. Like the Remorses and maybe a Chemistries, I'm thinking. Bring back in the Hand Hate to check out the Questing Beast so we know what's going on. And then this so we don't run out of gas. Something like that could be better. Where like that, because that way we're just turning off their graveyard game with Scavenging Ooze. Otherwise, Frantic Inventory is 2 mana cycle, which is just terrible. You know, this is fine, I think, with a Scryland at least. They could also have Hand Hate against us too, but plenty of answers to creatures here. Okay, sure. I have a pretty hot hand though. Don't burn your hand like I did. Right? Don't end up like this touching my hand. All right, don't do that. You see the blister? Might get one of those touching my hand. Very, very hot. Oh, they took my Remorse though. That's kind of sad. What now? You play Questing Beast, I kill it. You play Garruk's Harbinger, I soot you. What's up? What's the score? What's it gonna be? Rotting Regisaur, huh? They have to discard here. So we're just whittling their hand away. We're taking 7 damage, but that's fine. Okay? We're taking 7, but it's strategic, okay? Kept the Grasp for the Questing Beast that they can't cast with their 2 mana, right? Because I believe that we will draw into and eliminate. No? We're gonna have to blow a soot here, I think. Just so we don't die. Who's okay? This is a pretty good time to draw Kefnet. With the Scryland, that is so beautiful if we get to untap with it. Please, everyone, just... Small prayer. Honestly, their only answer seems to be... Alright, so hopefully that kind of gave you an idea of how the deck functions. You get to see some gameplay, and you get to hear about any changes that I would kind of make to the list as well. So I usually do one of these deck guides, well, usually like 2 or 3, honestly, per week. So if you guys are interested in that content, we'll have an end panel here shortly where you can click subscribe, and that really helps the channel. It'll also notify you when new deck guides are up and such. I also have a playlist with all of the deck guides included, so if you guys want some more ideas, make sure you check that out too. So yeah, pretty much it. I appreciate you guys checking out the video, and I hope that it was helpful, and I will see you guys for the next one.